really freaking windy, man. And I'm on the Ducati Multistrada V4s this afternoon, and I'm heading to Fraser Motorcycles in Sydney to pick up the Streetfighter. That's right, I'm jumping on the 2023 Streetfighter V4s for the weekend, and we're going to put it back to back with the M1000R Beamer and the Aprilia Tuono V4 factory, and I'm pumped. Can't wait for that back-to-back test ride, and a few other little videos planned as well. Anyway, so that's what I'm doing. I'm on my way out there now to grab the Streetfighter, and for once and for all, put the debate, the title fight of the Super Nakeds, put this debate to bed. As you would know, right now the M1000R is my favourite naked. It pipped the Tuono in my back-to-back test, and now I'm going to put it up against the Streetfighter, which I think most would probably agree is the title fight. Although those KTM Super Duke 1290R lovers out there would say that they'd have a different view. I did back-to-back the M1000R with the Super Duke not that long ago. Check my video out. And look, I definitely preferred the BMW for a whole range of reasons. Look, I do think it is the next level hyper naked, the Beamer. So look, anyway, it's probably its toughest competition yet is going to be with the Streetfighter. So stay tuned for a handful of videos on that topic. Here we go. Check it. Check it. 2023 Streetfighter V4s, and it looks stunning. Actually looks way better in the flesh. There's a SP in there as well for sale, which I actually reckon I like this better. I don't know. We will reflect on that. We will reflect. This is my first impressions video, first time on one of these, and here we go. How exciting. Very different riding position straight up. You are definitely more on the bike than in it. Feel it straight away. You feel kind of perched on top of it, as compared to the MR, at least anyway. Firm seat, but not too firm. So these are just absolute first impressions. Alrighty, let's go, shall we? Absolute first impressions. Great sounding bike. Wow, that's a really great sound. Brakes, I should say. Brakes, excellent. Straight away you can feel it. The initial bite, great. Wow, this could be a big test for the MR. Mirrors are bigger. Oh, Jesus, sounds superb. Really good. What a great rumble from that exhaust and that V4. Super duper. It's a narrower feeling bike around the tank than the Beamer and the Tuono, although not too narrow, and I was worried about that. The Ducatis I've owned previously have been disappointingly narrow. It's like having a pencil between your legs. Not this. Well, very low speed manners appear to be excellent. But yeah, this is got a great feel to it. It's not too narrow. In fact, I really like the feel of the tank between my legs, and I didn't think I would, just based on prior experience. Suspension firm. Of course, I've just taken it out of the dealership, so I've had no tweakability. Oh, quick shift is good. And so indicators in a good position. You know how I feel about that. I didn't know where it was. I just reached and there it was. It was by my thumb. KTM Super Duke, take note. I'm in second gear, low speed. It's not twitchy at all. Beautiful. Wow, really nice. I've got to tell you, I feel immediately at ease and relaxed on this bike. I'm loving the feel of it between my legs. I really am. It feels like it belongs there. Really nice. The leg position probably fractionally more squeezed up than on the Beamer, so probably slightly more aggressive. I'm leaning forward slightly more, but remember on the Beamer I've got the risers. So in terms of stock standard comparison, it's probably fairly similar in terms of the lean forward. Not as wide in the bars, obviously, as the MR. But a really nice riding position. Really, really nice. I would put the risers on to take some weight off the wrist if it were mine, and it may well yet be mine. This bike's got 90 kilometers on it. It's brand new. Well, it does feel good. It feels light. Ooh, I like. Immediate first impressions, I really like. Yep, so far so good. The TFT is not as good as the BMW. It's smaller and harder to read. Plenty of information though. And yeah, what have we got? Wheelie control 5, SC2, EBC1. Oh shit. Wasn't watching. Nice. Yeah, pretty good, well, very good initial throttle response. That's the first sort of partial throttle opening I've even applied, and it had great response. Nice. It is loud for a stock exhaust, like the Panigale V4 I had. That was loud too, but this is way more comfy and less intimidating compared to the Panigale V4s. I'll never forget the day I first rode that. I shat my pants. That thing was scary. This is not at the moment. That may change. Brakes are good. The shifting is really good. It's not as sharp as the Beamer, although that first gear downshift there was incredible. Maybe I reserve judgment on that. First impressions, I was very, very good. Very, very good. Gee whiz, Ducati, you have come a long way. Finding neutral, yeah, not easy, like just about any modern bike actually. Wow, okay, well this is exciting, really exciting. The fins aren't too ostentatious. You don't really even know they're there. The design of this and the look of it is, well, it's Ducati, isn't it? The standout feature so far, having not even got out of second gear yet, I don't think, the standout feature is the way this bike feels between your legs. Seriously, it's got a great, for me, for my body shape, and I'm a tall rider, it does feel delightful around the middle. It really does. You've got this beautiful grip going on. Oh, M4, where am I going? Hang on. Concentrate. Where am I? I think I'm good. Yeah, it's it's got this great feel to it. Brilliant downshift, man. Really nice blip as well, a nicer blip than the Beamer. I tell you what, Ducati is going to give BMW a right royal run for its money when I get this thing, when I start getting used to it and get it out and about, which will happen over the coming couple of days. It is going to be interesting. I don't think BMW is going to have the modern hyper naked championship all to itself. It's going to have to fight for it, would be my immediate reaction. I had a funny feeling after my Panigale experience, that I've owned two of them, that I was going to get on this and kind of not like it. That is not the case. Yeah, that tacho, I'm sure there might be other display modes which I can explore, but that tacho's a bit small for moi. I'm sure the Panigale TFT was bigger than that. The downshifts are exquisite. Really, really good, Ducati. You need to let that clutch out a long way. I don't like that. Need some adjustment. That's no biggie. Olin's steering damper, that is a good sign. Looks rather pretty as well. Now, to be fair to the Ducati, we will have to put it in its highest power mode from a throttle response point of view, because of course that's what I'm doing with the Beamer. One thing I will say though, just initial feelings, that direct throttle mode on the BMW with the Brand tune does make it far more V4-esque. Like, you don't get on this and go, oh my god, that's just so different character to the inline 4. At the moment I am only experiencing this on its sport mode, so it'll be probably second highest power setting or even third. So we will experiment in due course. I would say the Tuono's got more lower down torque. This feels like it's got quite a good bit of mid-range though. Although, how would I know? I haven't even got over probably 6,000-7,000 RPM yet. We will see. What's the lane filtering like? Actually, I feel really, really good about lane filtering. Really good. It's because you've got that feeling around your legs. It does feel like a scalpel coming through this type of terrain, this urban jungle. A little bit of vibration through the test. Ooh, no problem. Probably not quite as smooth as the inline 4, and you wouldn't expect it to be, but smooth enough. Smooth enough as we come towards the Anzac Bridge here in Sydney's inner west. I really like the riding position, and this does feel a lot more agile than the Tuono. I wonder if my Tuono is just not set up properly actually, because a lot of people give me feedback saying they don't have that same experience that I do on the Tuono in terms of slow steering and such like, but this does feel more nimble than the Tuono. It feels about on par with the BMW, maybe fractionally. Oh, it's hard to say. I mean, I've got the BMW steering damper, the aftermarket one, turn up high, which slows it down a bit. I reckon it's going to be fairly close, but we will know when we back-to-back them in the coming days. Oh, these brakes are good. What a bike, man. Oh, well done, Ducati, with that indicator. It is in the perfect position. Love that stuff. Love it. You can see just through there, you can see the top of the Sydney Harbour Bridge coming from the western side as the sun shines on the CBD, and it's a very different view of the harbour city. The Anzac Bridge, the New Zealand flag at the western end, the Australian at the eastern. as we get a great view of the Sydney CBD. There's the Harbour Bridge over there. All from the seat of the Ducati Streetfighter. Who would have thought, eh? Who would have thought? Big thank you to Fraser Motorcycles and to Glenn, who helped organise this test ride on a brand new bike. Really awesome. I've been a long-term customer of Fraser. I bought a number of bikes. In fact, I bought my first ever bike off Fraser. It's a Ducati Monster 659 way back. And yeah, so I've had a long-term relationship with the dealership. They do a great job. Unlike some of the other dealerships out in the west of Sydney, which for the time being shall remain nameless. More to come on that. I am going to do a review of the motorcycle dealerships in this fair city. I have bought bikes from most of the well-known ones and a couple of the lesser-known ones, and I reckon I've got a pretty good feel for it. You walk into a motorcycle dealership and you get a pretty good sense of the culture of the organisation, I reckon, in one visit. So yeah, I've got a interesting review that I'm planning to give a pretty good shakedown of my experience with all of the dealerships that I've bought bikes from in Sydney, and there is a big variance. There is a big variance. There's big differences between the good ones and the bad ones, and the very good ones from the good ones, and yeah, I will look forward to bringing you that. I have had some outstanding experiences, like the one I'm actually currently having today with Fraser Motorcycles. Been good enough to lend me this bike for the weekend. It's unreal. And I've had some shockers. More to come. Anyway, the Ducati, as the light goes down, the light fades as the sun sets here on a winter's afternoon, winter's evening. We go down through the CBD onto the Harbour Bridge, heading north. Oh yeah, this bike's very good. Oh yeah, it's very good. Oh, this is a what I would call a rider's bike. Okay, it's a new, it's a term I've used before, and I'm gonna use it again. This bike feels like you are integrated with it. It feels like you and the bike are one. When I first jumped on it, I felt like I was on top of it. And look, it still feels a bit that way, but on this particular bike, that kind of works. It feels good. Because of the way the seat, the tank feels. Yeah, it's something that done some seriously good things with the design, the ergonomics of this. They really have. Really have. My bottom is feeling a little, I can feel a few little, you know, pins and needle feelings in my bum, but like all these bikes, these sport-focused bikes, they just come with too hard a seat, so I'd take it off and put a softer one on. No big deal. No big deal. Mind you, I did spend a good hour getting to the dealership, so my bum's probably already a bit raw, so it might not be all to do with the Streetfighter. I mean, if you've just bought this bike and this is your first ride home on it, you'd be going, oh yeah, oh man, I'm thrilled, I'm really happy I bought this. So we will now live with it for a couple of days, and I'm going to do a commute on it tomorrow, see how it fares as a commuter bike. I'll chuck it in race mode, get that direct throttle race mode comparison with the MR. So we'll make sure before we ride it tomorrow we set it up so it's kind of like for like. I'm thinking the suspension, whilst firm, is probably not quite as firm as the BMW right now. It's actually feeling pretty compliant on a rough section of urban road. So this is not some pre-prepared, produced, slick video. This is just me jumping on this bike for the very first time, giving you absolutely raw first impressions, and that's what you want. Surely, by the end of the weekend, I'll be able to give you a few more refined thoughts. We're going to go through a thorough examination. For those of you who've seen my ultimate test ride videos, you'll know I will review this bike against about 15 criterium, and ride it back to back with the MR and the Tuono. I do wish that TFT was bigger, you know. That is actually, I'm a bit surprised for such a premium product that that's not a larger screen. And that is a first world problem, and that is because I'm spoiled with the massive screen on the Multistrada, the brilliant TFT on the Aprilia and on the BMW. I do not feel the need to put an aftermarket can on this at all. It's got its stock exhaust on it, and I reckon I'd leave it alone. It's loud AF. It's loud AF. Just like the Panigale was as well. But I can tell you, I'd rather be on this than the Panigale. Immediate first impression, I would much rather be on this. Yeah, I mean, I've owned two Panigales, the 1199, the very first one that came out, and the latest V4s. I actually sold it just before I started up my motorcycle channel again, so I didn't do any videos or reviews on it, which is a bit of a shame, but I didn't really like it. And the main reason I didn't like it was I found it way too aggressive. Hot, loud, on-off, like, and just tuned in a way where you know, you had that huge high and rush, but very unusable, I thought, on the street. It basically terrified me, if I'm honest. A bit like the Super Duke 1290R did a few weeks ago. Go check that video out. The way that thing was tuned was very different, obviously, to the Panigale, but that scared the crap out of me for different reasons. Very different reasons. Same net impact though. Brown undies. This, I don't think, is going to give me brown undies. Oh, it obviously could, like any of these high-power bikes could, but I'm feeling way more relaxed on this. And I am starting to feel the heat now. That Ducati V4 heat is definitely starting to caress my inner thighs. I'm feeling the heat. Now we are in winter, it's reasonably cool, and so the heat can actually be a really nice thing in winter, but in the summer, I remember the Panigale was just about unbearable. And look, it is an issue, right? It definitely is. Now you can get heat shields and all the rest of it. And if you owned this, I reckon you would. But it's a problem. But unlike the Aprilia, at least while it's getting hot, the engine still behaves. The Aprilia doesn't get anywhere near as hot on you, in terms of how you feel the heat on your body. But the engine shits itself, gets hot even, the first intersection on a cold morning. It overheats and turns off every intersection. Okay, that's a fact. This doesn't do that, but this does send some heat your way, that's for sure. Anyway, those are my very, very first impressions of the Streetfighter. I'll keep this short. There's plenty more to come, and looking forward to the really detailed review that I'm going to do hopefully Saturday morning. We'll do a commuter video tomorrow, do the detailed review back to back against the MR and the Tuono on Saturday, and we'll chuck in a few other bits and bobs along the way as well. So stay tuned, and by the end of this weekend we're going to know once and for sure who the greatest hyper naked of all actually is. Who is the greatest super naked of all, hyper naked of all? Who is the greatest of them all? Stay tuned, you're going to find out real soon. See you later.